Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you turn on your notifications and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Atlanta Sports Unlimited, so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can pick from multiple sports. And get this, sign up using the code ASU and Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer. Download the app for free at the Google Play Store or the App Store. Well, Terrence, it's almost 2 weeks away until the start of training camp.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, it feels like it's taking forever. I guess because I'm excited for the camp competitions and to see what the future holds for the Falcons. How you been feeling since we've been off these?
I've been kind of poised through this moment because of the fact, as of last year, it was really unknown with the new coaching staff and what was going to happen defensively, offensively, whatsoever, what philosophy was going to be brought in, what type of team this is going to be. Going into this year, there's still some questions, but at the same time, you have better pieces than you had last year. So, because people says, well, there's not no all pro guys on the roster. There's not a whole lot of Pro Bowl guys on the roster, but there's a lot of young guys who want to compete and be on the football field. You want to put together a competitive football team. And the reason I say that is because what happens is when you have a Pro Bowl guy, all pro guy at your position, you're not trying to beat him out because in your mind, you say, he's who he is, he's going to play. If I get a chance to play, that's fine. But going into this season, it's a whole different, with this roster is a whole different thing. We don't know who the starters are besides Kyle Pitts. We don't know especially offensively, Grady Jarrett and Terrell Deep. We don't know. So every position is it's a fight. So what happens is competition happens and it raised the level of play at each position. So I'm excited, like you said, I'm excited to see some of the competition, some of the battles that's going to go on in camp. And of course, everybody wants to see the quarterback battle.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, since our last episode, some of the commenters and other people are just like that. It's a done deal. Mariota's going to start for the Atlanta Falcons, and that's the way it is.
Right.
I still feel like there's going to be a competition. Yeah, he may not be up to speed of Mariota because I don't expect that. Mariota's a professional. Right. But I still believe there's going to be a competition. And to think that Ritter wouldn't start a game this season, I think that's kind of naive to think that earlier on. We don't really know.
This is what I think. I think it's Mariota's job to keep. He does what he's supposed to do in training camp in the preseason. It's his job. Now it's the offensive line job and the coordinator's job is to keep him healthy.
Yeah,
that's their job because he has had some injury issues in the past. Now Ritter's gonna make it interesting, but he's gonna make Mariota better. I want to see it go down to the wire to going into that after that last preseason game. Now you say, here's my start. I don't want you to make that decision too early where all of a sudden the guy who is the starter gets comfortable and said, okay, I'm the starter. Yeah. I wanted to go all the way up until that last week where now going into preparing for week one, you're still edgy and you're still in that competitive mode. And that's what's going to make you a better quarterback, which is going to help this football team.
The Falcons just now they have all their rookies under contract. I think, except for maybe Ritter. I was trying to find his contract details and still couldn't come across of it. So maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but they did sign the second round defensive end Arnold Bikati. I don't want to butcher his name too bad. But, yeah, and the Falcons, we expect him to get a lot of playing time. That's somebody that we do expect to get a lot of playing time, if not even start this year.
Well, you have a young guy on the edge there. We signed the kid from Notre Dame last year, so you have what we call him Big O. Well, you have competition there. Then you sign some guys from Tennessee and from the Giants whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, when we talk about this roster, something I don't want to forget this because I think this is very important for people to understand. We have now, as of last week, signed 14 former Chicago Bears.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Now, and people going, well, why would we sign guys from a losing organization? Well, you got to understand this. With the new guy in the front office, Pace, who was the former GM for the Bears, signed these guys. That don't mean they can't play. Maybe as you see, they have a new coach now. So as you see, it could be the system they were in, the situation they were in. Some was injured, but we got to give them a chance. So I'm saying, now, here's you going, but it's the Chicago Bears. They haven't won, but they played it in the black and blue division. So it was a physical division. Maybe they bring some of that feistiness, that physicalness to the NFC South and to this Atlanta Falcons organization. I'm just, I'm just trying. I'm trying to be that guy to look for the roses instead of touching the thorns. I want to be that guy to just, hey, let's give them a chance. After week 4 or 5, if things are not panning out, let's see what changes they're going to make. But I truly believe that we're going to see exciting football from this Atlanta Falcons football team. I say that because of the fact that I've been wishing and hoping that I see a lot of balls flying in the air, a lot of deep balls with all these weapons. One guy we haven't talked about the Falcons sign is Geronimo Ellison from used to be with the Packers, played a lot his rookie year with the Packers. And this is a guy I know personally because I coached him in the East-West Shrine game. And I remember him at the East-West Shrine game. He's a good route runner. He's already has a physical build of an NFL receiver. And I'm looking for him to play a lot this year too. So you got a good group at wide receivers. I wonder why I talk about wide receivers a lot, because I guess I was one at one time. So, but I like him, and we forget about him. And there's another 6'4" guy. So
Who on the offensive side of the ball, like during training camp and even during the season, who's going to be that go-to guy that the guys can rally around to give the guys some inspiration, so to speak, the leader? Because all of those guys are now gone. I mean, Kyle Pitts maybe, but he's a young fella. Who's going to be that guy?
I think it's going to be Mariota because he's been around a long time. But I think, with Kyle Pitts' stature as one of the young stars in the league, his body of work and the way he practices, the way he carries himself, what he says is going to garnish some attention. So I think that if he plays with this swagger that we've seen him play in during mini camp and OTAs, I think it's going to rub off on this team. I've been saying this for years about this Atlanta Falcons football team and this organization. It's been a dead organization far as enthusiasm and excitement from the players. It seemed like they was robotic every time they were in front of the cameras, and it seemed like they were holding in their personalities when they were on the football field and couldn't be excitable whatsoever. It was almost like a memo came down and says, this is business and this is how we're going to conduct business, and I don't anybody get out of place, you're out of here. But somebody's going to have to break out. Somebody's going to have to break out, dance in the end zone after a touchdown. They're going to have to do something, throw their hands up after a play, get the crowd going. Just if that's not in your character, don't do it. But if it's in your character, I think you should do it, because I know for a fact that it rallies your team and it rallies the fan base when you do that.
Yeah, it definitely does. I can speak to the fan base. It definitely rallies them, and I'm sure your teammates get excited to see that as well. That pumps them up. What was I going to say about the current way things are going? Like I said, I'm still excited, but I guess we've had so much time on our hands. I've had time to think more. So then you start to question things. But I can say at least the Falcons are not all in the news and in the media during this time. It's been real quiet.
It's been quiet. It's been really, really quiet, which is a good thing. But here's the thing. I would like to see, and I'm talking to corporations out there. I would like to see more billboards, more radio spots, more TV spots, Marta Bus.
Mhm.
I need to see more of this Falcons football team. I need to see PSAs. I need to see that. I need to see all these things because what happens is you get to know the personality of your player,
Mhm.
of the guy that you're rooting for, and it makes you endear him more and support the organization more. When you're quiet and you come out and you're not as successful as you should be, fans go, oh. But if we know you, give him a chance. That's my dude. He's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. I know him. Hey, I like his character. He's gonna be okay. People say that doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does. It does. If you don't know me and my personality, what I stand for whatsoever, and the first time you see it, that's what you're gonna carry with you.
Mhm.
So if I'm on the football field, you never seen my personality and I'm yelling and pushing DBs whatsoever, you're gonna think I'm a mean, you know, butthole, right? And you're gonna be like, oh, and then when you see me out in public, you're gonna be like, oh, standoffish and this and that. But if you've seen me in PSAs and commercials and doing these things, smiling on the billboard, whatsoever, you're gonna say, I like him. Oh, then when I get into that pushing match, you're gonna say, oh, they done pissed him off.
Yeah.
Come on, T Mac, go get him, go get him. So it's all that plays a part. It's the little things that help you become successful.
I'll give credit to the Falcons social media team. They've been doing a good job
Yeah.
with some things with the players when they were at mini
Mhm.
camp, asking them just various questions
Right.
and
Right.
like favorite rappers, things like that.
Right.
So you could kind of
Right.
get to know the guys.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that helped out a
Yeah.
lot because there were some guys. I mean, like I said, the newer guys, I didn't know who they were.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Right.
by them doing that, you can kind of put
Right.
a name with the face. One
Yeah.
guy that's always on there who's got a heck of a personality. I wish he could maybe translate on the field is Frank Darby because
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a guy that
Yeah.
that people know.
Yeah. He's that. He's that. He's that. When you have a rep artist, right before the rep artist comes out, you
Hype
have the
man.
hype guy. He's the hype man for this team. And at some point, the hype man is going to have to get his own gig.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to figure out how to get on the football field. And remember, a couple of years ago, he was in my mock draft. And
Mm-hmm.
we drafted him because I thought I seen something in him that I thought his personality and his go get him attitude was going to rub off in that wide receiver meeting room.
Yeah, and he still has that type of attitude. So I hope that
Right.
that's something that he can make it positive impact on the
Right.
playing field. I hope he can
Right.
actually get in there and play and make a
Mhm.
positive impact.
Now that's a guy that's going to dance in the end zone when he scores.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
going to do something. He's going to do something. I'm going to go, that's my guy.
You got any expectations this year for Drake London, like rookie
You know
record
what? I
expectations?
really don't yet.
Mhm.
I expect him to. Here's going, and a lot of people say he's gonna have this great, miraculous, incredible, phenomenal rookie year, and usually it doesn't happen for um, young wide receivers, especially when you don't have a quarterback that is in the top tier
Yes.
of the league as a quarterback. So it's kind of hard um, to measure that. So he's going to have to take it slow and not get impatient and just take his time and take what comes to him and not force it. And then as the season go along, you will see him get a lot. He'll get a lot better.
Yeah. Since last time, because the running back room keeps changing, they signed Jerry McNichols and they've already released him in that time. Since the last time we spoke about the
Mhm.
running backs, that's a pretty deep room, and we forget we still got Cordarrelle Patterson there. So I'm wondering how he's going to fit
Mhm.
in this
Mhm.
equation as well this season. Is he going to be the same type of gadget guy, or are they going to primarily do him at receiver? I wonder.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I've been thinking about this a little bit whatsoever. um, you have to implement him in the game plan. But as you implement him in the game plan, don't go away from your game plan.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Don't go away from what you're trying to accomplish to do to say, okay, let's put Cordell in and let's do this. Okay, wait a minute, hold up. We had a good flow going. Now you want to change it up. He needs to be part of the flow
Yeah.
and not add it to the flow, if that makes sense to you.
No, I
So
think.
I think and I think that's going to be viable for this football team trying to figure out you don't have enough football for all the talent you have on that offensive side of the ball. And I can just go back to when the year we went to the Super Bowl. You had Jamel Anderson, uh, Tony Martin, myself, OJ Santiago, Tim Dwight. So you had all these guys that you got to say, oh my God, we don't have enough football for all those guys. But you got to be unselfish. You got to be selfless and do your job and do what's expected of you. And then when your number is called, make it count. And
Mhm.
you have to be happy for your teammate because at the end of the day, if he's balling, let him ball out. Let him ball out. My time is coming next. Sooner or later, my time is coming. And that's how you got to look at it. And
Mhm.
that's how you're going to be successful offensively. You can't worry about if Cordarrelle Patterson is getting all the love, or Kyle Pitts is getting all the love, or London Drake is getting all the love, or whoever else is. You can't worry about that because if he's balling, we winning. We all winning. So I think that's one thing that this group has to get together. Fist pound, high five each other, and say, "Hey, man, do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing when my number is called." And that's how you're gonna become successful offensively.
And y'all definitely did that with that team in '98. That I always marveled at that because you had Jamal Anderson, like you said
Hmm.
yourself, Tim Dwight, T. Martin, and
Yeah.
with Jamal leading the league in rushing like he was, that took away from
Right.
y'all, but
Hmm.
it came back, and y'all handled it so well. It
Yes.
jailed. It was like a perfect,
Yeah.
well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we did because we didn't care who got all the glory.
Hmm.
Our whole goal was to win football games, win our division, win the conference, and get into the Super Bowl, which we did. I wish we would have said win a division, win the conference, and win the Super Bowl
Yeah.
instead of just saying get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But it was a remarkable time. And speaking of the division, uh, this is a winnable division for this Atlanta Falcons football team. And everybody going, oh, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I understand that. But you got to understand you have a quarterback that retired and unretired. You got a tight end that's retired. Uh, you got some players who left and you got a new head coach and all these things. And he's the co-defensive coordinator. They got co-defensive coordinators and all these things that are going on in Tampa Bay. Yeah,
A lot of
you still have
changes.
the GOAT there. Yeah, but there's a lot of things that have to line up for them to
Mhm.
be successful. Then we look at the New Orleans Saints, new head coach. They're still unsure who their quarterback is.
Yeah.
And they don't have a go-to wide receiver. Okay, Mike Thomas, is he healthy though? Is he healthy? And that defense is still going to be good, but are they going to put up enough points to win football games? Is your defensive coordinator of last year now your head coach?
Hmm.
So you see what I'm saying? So does the defense drop because the head coach now is away from calling plays and setting the schemes and all those things? So then we look at the poor Carolina
Baker
Panthers.
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield and Darnold. Oh my God. This now that's a quarterback battle you probably don't want to watch because that could look ugly every day. That could look ugly every day. But and there you go right there. They're unsure who their quarterback's gonna be. It's gonna be some controversy there. Uh, can Darnold hold him off? And is Baker Mayfield is he the guy he was 2 years ago? Is his shoulder healthy and all these things?
Mhm.
And I leave the Falcons for last because we talk about them the most. It's some questions we have to answer too.
Absolutely.
Are we solid at quarterback? You know, who's going to be our game one starters? Is our offensive line better? Are they going to be better than they were last year?
Mhm.
Um, I believe the defense is going to be better. I truly believe that. And now is one of those things is this. Are you going to open the playbook? You know, Arthur Smith, have some fun on the sideline. You know, have some fun, smile a little bit. Here's the thing I read, uh, and my wife told me about it actually. She read something and said, quick story said there was a guy who played football and he had a coach
Mhm.
who just loved him, endeared him, coached him, motivated him, even when he did it wrong, motivated him and he had fun and he excelled. Coach leave, then another coach comes in and he was intimidating. He
Mhm.
would yell every time you make a mistake. He would yell at you, sit you down, whatsoever. And the player said, I never overcame that. He says, even years later, if somebody gave me a comment of if I gave a speech or a presentation, if somebody didn't like it and they made a comment about it, I went into a shell and my next two events wasn't successful and I had to overcome that. So here it is, and I'm saying that, I'm not only saying that for uh, Arthur Smith, I'm saying it for all coaches out there. You know, when you play the intimidation role, it affects your team because they don't play at the level they should play at. They play at a level of trying not to make mistakes. So
Mhm.
now they're playing at a 75, 80% clip. They're not playing full speed because they're thinking and trying to be perfect so they won't get yelled at, they won't get pulled whatsoever, or they won't get criticized.
Yeah.
So the intimidation thing, the the tough guy act for coaches, that's out the window. You got to go away from that because and I hate to say that the mentality of athletes today has changed.
It has.
There's so many mental health issues. There's so many things that go along in society today. You have to know your players and know how they react. Everybody's not the same. So I promise you, if I haven't been a head coach in the NFL, but I've been a head coach before.
Mhm.
My demeanor on the sideline helps my team play at their best. Personal foul penalty, I don't yell. I don't get upset. Interception, you come up, I don't yell. I don't get upset. You jump off sides, fumble, I don't yell. I don't get upset because it happens. There's not a perfect player out there in any sport.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen an NBA player go 100% from the field. I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen a batter go a thousand a whole season, bat
Mhm.
1,000. I have never seen that before. Never seen that before. I ain't never seen a quarterback complete 100% of the balls. I've never seen that. So you make mistakes. You make mistakes, and you got to understand that, and you got to just deal with it and move on because you can't do nothing when you yell at a guy or be intimidated to a player after he made a mistake. He already know he made the mistake. Move on. Move
Mhm.
on. So I would like to see Arthur Smith loosen up a little bit, brother. Loosen
What
up.
about the
Loosen
people
up,
who?
man. Loosen up.
What if somebody said, Terrence, they're professionals. They're supposed to suck it up.
Mhm.
Just take that.
No, they're not professionals. I mean, let me take that back. They are professionals, but they're men playing a child's game.
Mhm.
So think about it. If you've played this game, say I started at 9, all the way through year 13, it was still a kid's game to me, and it was fun to me. And I promise you, uh, there's there's some immaturity there
Mhm.
in some of those locker rooms. You got to understand this. If a guy has so much talent and been so talented, so all his life he's been pushed along, oh, that's that dude. Now when he becomes professional, he gets critiqued, he gets graded whatsoever. He doesn't understand that because he's going, wait a minute, I have never seen this before. I've never been critiqued, I've never been graded like this before. Oh, this is different to me. It takes him a while to overcome that
Mhm.
and to grasp and understand what is going on. And sometimes it could be detrimental, and then but most of the time it helps because the professionalism comes in when you have to pick up that check on Monday morning.
Yeah.
That's when the professionalism comes in. Now you're going, okay, I like this check. So I'm gonna have to change my ways to continue to support my family
Yeah.
or create legacy down the road.
And me personally, I've always liked that. I like to see the coaches be more candid and more open. Um, I don't
Hmm.
mind if they get mad sometimes, but not necessarily at the players. Maybe
Hmm.
just show emotion
Right.
at maybe how the game's
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
officiated, things
Hmm.
like that, instead of just
Right.
that coach speak.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
But I think, like you
Exactly.
say, even down to youth sports, it's the same way. You don't want anybody walking on eggshells where they feel like they
Yeah.
make one
Right.
mistake, you're gonna jump down their throat. You know what I mean? You've got to be able
Yeah.
to uplift the
Nope.
players and build their
And one of
confidence. I feel like,
yeah, one of the first things I told my players when I first started coaching in 2010 at Savannah State, I told them, I said, one thing I would never do, I would never yell at you in front of your peers, in front of your parents, in front of students, in front of anybody. I said I would never do that, ever do that. I would get upset, but I never do that. So I remember a game, I I got upset. I really got upset. So we called a timeout and I pulled the whole offense over. And usually, the offense stands on the sideline and then the coach is facing the stands.
yeah,
I flipped them and put them on the and had my back to the stands and brought them in tight. And I got on them. And I told myself, I promised you I would never do this in front of your family or your friends. But right now y'all playing like slugs. I probably used some profanity,
yeah,
which I shouldn't have at the time. But they got it. And then they started respecting me because they knew if they made a mistake, I'm just gonna pull you to the side, put my arm around you, and say, "What happened? What were you thinking? It's okay. Let's go get it next time." And that's when you earn because now they want to play for you because they know that. Hey, look, you got to understand. My son was playing in a game, a freshman game, and he dropped the punt.
hmm
And coach was all over him, blah blah blah. And I was on the sideline whatsoever. I was on the sideline. It's my son, so you kind of take it personally when the coach gets on him whatsoever. And I asked him, I said, "Have you ever dropped a punt in the game?" He goes, "No." I said, "Because you never done it before." I says, "I played in front of 80, 90, 100,000 and drop punts and fumble all the time. It happens. So what? Move on. It's over." And I put him right back out there. And he caught the next one. So that's the thing. If you haven't been in those situations and understand that feeling, it's hard for you to chastise somebody and tell them you shouldn't have done that. Why did you do that?
hmm
Well, it happens. I'm human. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. And that's one thing, coaches got to understand. I even tell my coaches, I'm gonna call a bad play. I'm gonna put you in a bad situation. But guess what? When that happens, I'm gonna tell you I did it.
hmm
I'm gonna tell you I did it because when you make a mistake, I'm gonna let you know you made a mistake. Now, if I ever make a mistake, come to me and say, "Hey, coach, don't I'm just addressing a problem that's stopping us from being the best. Coach, that was the wrong call." You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, and that's the way we communicate. That's the way I communicate with my players, and we get along, and we are successful when we're at that level of men to men talking to each other like men.
And I think that's real. They
Yeah,
respect that. Young men
yeah,
and grown men respect that.
yeah.
You
Right,
treat each other like a grown man and with
right.
respect. There's another way to go about it, but
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
any other way. What you got for us
yeah.
in the show today?
It's this gonna be. I'm gonna make it short and simple if I can. Uh, we hear this phrase all, "In God we trust."
hmm
Is that just something is just thrown out there? You hear it whatsoever, or do you really believe it? In God I trust. Under, with what's going on in society today, with the killings, the guns, the abortion, uh, uh, recession, gas prices, food prices, all these things that are going on in this world today, all the hatred that's going on in the world today, and we react to it. We react. We react. We don't trust God because we pray at night and says, "Lord, help the recession, help gas prices, help grocery prices, help my 401k. Lord, do something about these murders and do something about gun control, do something about let your will be done, Lord, whatsoever." But then when we face it, we react.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things, it's natural to do that. And I'm saying don't do that. It's natural to do that. But at the same time, do you trust God?
Yeah.
When he says, lay your burdens on me, my load is light. Do we really believe in that? I do. You should too. That's it.
All right. Thanks, T. I hope everyone has a great
Yeah,
week.
man.
Training camps in 2 weeks. Can't wait. I hope everyone has a great day.
Yeah. 2 weeks. Peace.